Hola! Thanks for watching Inspiring Change by Cindy. Today is the day of the build. But before the build, I need to clear the area, move all the edging, the pavers, the wood. This is a big day. I've been prepping the wood for this, and now it's time to prep the area for this. I am very grateful that I received a lot of help during this process. I just have a lot of friends and family that I'm just very blessed to have in my life. I'm trying to be a little cautious with my irrigation system. And there's a caterpillar that loves the milkweed. There was a helicopter that kept hovering over my house for about 2 days there. That's a great book I gave to my friend. So during a time of need of physical strength, my friend Casey just out of nowhere reappeared and decided to lend a helping hand. I actually couldn't have done this without her. So thanks, Case. And then out of nowhere, Nene stops by unexpectedly, perhaps to check on her little sister. Perfect timing, because I put her to work. Thanks again for all of your help. It was a really beautiful day outside this particular day. I love it. This machine was so heavy and so hard to control. I don't know what just happened. It's a sod cutter, so you push it through and then it cuts all the sod. And I decided to place the sod to cover the arch because I don't want that arch anymore unless it's done out of bricks and pavers with a pattern. The problem with the machine is so heavy. It was just, at least it was a nice day outside. But the sod came right off. I rented the machine for only 4 hours, so I knew I just needed to get in and get out. Yo no puedo esperar que toda esta grama crezca porque estoy tapando el arco iris, entonces creo que se va a ver tan bonito cuando ya esté parejito. And my floors are so uneven. I mean, that's the problem with this build. It's that the floor's got to be even for the pavers, for the pillars, and it's not. It is extremely uneven. I think it's the entire house, and I know there used to be a tree there, so it has some giant roots underneath the ground still. I wish they wouldn't have removed it, but definitely got removed before me. Esta máquina pesa tanto. Renté la máquina solamente para 4 horas porque el espacio solamente era 4 por 36. Es más grande de lo que voy a armar. So that's why I had to go past what I'm building because the whole thing's going. So the area is 4 by 36 instead of 28 by 8. it was just such a difficult machine to turn and everything. This is where the stump is. I'm not sure if I should get a stump grinder. In the meantime, I'm gonna put a plant there and see what happens if I leave a paver missing and put a beautiful plant, or get a stump grinder, or I'm not really even sure how to get rid of it. I painted all of the brackets for the build a matte black. I think it'll look really sharp against my freshly stained pillars and my glitterified with rose gold roof. So that's what's happening in the background, is all of the chrome parts, including the screws, are getting painted with 2 coats, sometimes 3, of matte black. All simultaneously while cutting the sod and covering my driveway arch. So there it is. I can't believe it. It was difficult. There's what my nails look like, and there's what dinner looks like. Lots of vegetables and lots of meat. So what I'm trying to do now is saturate the floor just to get it even. See where it's uneven, and try to get an idea of how I'm gonna work with this, because I have to get pavers on here. I'm not sure of the design at this point, but right now I'm just focusing on getting the ground as leveled as possible. Espero que el agua ayude a poner la tierra and level it out para que yo pueda poner los pisos más fácil. My goal is just to clear out everything and get ready for the build. I need a clear space. I don't want any clutter. I don't want anything except the supplies and the materials that I already have ready. As I'm watering, I'm thinking about the space and how I want the space to look and what's my next project. I just keep coming up with more and more projects and more ideas, and brainstorming with my friends and ideas bouncing off each other. And next thing you know, a small little project becomes a massive build. But that's okay. I'm alright with that. I like working hard. Plus, I like seeing the final results. Yo creo que sirvió echándole el agua porque está como más parejito. La tierra, estoy tratando de ver cómo hago para construir este proyecto basado en lo que dibujé y en toda la madera que ya tengo preparada y todos los materiales que ya tengo preparados y pintados y listos, exacto la cantidad que necesito. El problema es que creo que el proyecto está muy grande para esta área. Aunque lo limpié, lo aclaré, hay mucha tierra, hay otra madera ahí. Entonces, como que en este punto decidimos, ok, va a tocar mover el proyecto a otro lugar. Y si ve la pintura, me encanta cómo quedó negro. Entonces cogí la idea right there, the black, from painting all of the brackets. I really liked how the black wood looked, so that's where I got the idea. Perfect. I'm gonna use that black wood as the border of my new flower beds. I don't want to paint the inside because I just don't want those toxins on the flowers. But on the outside, since it's already painted, it's perfect. Plus, it's going to perfectly match the brackets. And I love that dark color of the matte black. After 2 or 3 rounds of it, it's so beautiful. It's my favorite color on my nails. So we obviously ended up moving towards the driveway. Aquí hay más espacio. The sun is so beautiful, and I'm looking at this build and I'm like, oh, we could put this together in no time. We have exactly the plan, we have the brackets. The one thing I didn't take into consideration is that this wood is used and it's weatherized and it's warped and it's bent and it's stained very beautifully, but it's not quite fitting together how I need it to. Obviously, I'm gonna get it to work, but the sun started going down and it ends up being a lot bigger project than I anticipated. That's okay, I don't mind working hard. So here we are. Lo vamos a construir boca abajo so that it's upside down right now how we're building it. Honestly, I could have not done this project without the help of everyone that contributed towards this project. It was just a massive build. It's not a one-man job. It's not a two-man job. It really takes a lot of people, a lot of energy, a lot of determination, and I'm just so grateful that I have these people, even the people that just keep me mentally motivated and focused on what I'm doing. Obviously, the sun started to go down, so we decided time for the light. So here we are, rigging some posts and some light so that we can continue the build even after the sun goes down. The goal was to get it done this night so that the next day I could put it in the clear space. This build ended up being weeks and weeks and weeks of a project. It ended up being a lot of mess to clean up. It ended up being a lot of challenges to overcome. Obviously, I wasn't going to stop, but it definitely had its moments where I wanted to say, just kidding, I'm done, but I kept going. And this particular night, I believe we started at 6 p.m. and I think we stopped around 4 in the morning. And we didn't even stop because we were ready to stop. We stopped because I was going deep sea fishing with my children and I had to be there at 7 o'clock in the morning. So I basically got to go from this build to the shower to deep sea fishing. which, by the way, I highly recommend. It's a lot of fun. So because I'm building it upside down, I'm very cautious about where each particular pillar is going. The center pieces perimeter have a 10-foot pillar on both sides because the koi pond needs to have a pillar on each side, and 8 feet just wasn't enough, so those pieces are 10 feet long. And I also wanted to use the fancy ones. I have those two that I wanted to use in the front. I also have the pillar that has those large industrial hooks that was holding my horse's barn door. I ended up spray painting those matte black to match the brackets. That's what the paper was there for, to protect the wood. So that one needed to go in the back, and I needed to put it upside down. So I wasn't just putting the wood wherever, I was strategically putting it exactly where it needed to go. So when I flipped this over, it was exactly how it needed to fall. Now, I do love numbers. I am a math teacher, so it's all about measuring twice, cutting once, and just making sure that it's perfect. And taking your time. It's about taking your time. So decidimos que vamos a armar todo y después quitar las piernas para voltearlo y volverlo a construir. Quise construir todo boca abajo en el piso porque es más fácil construir todo en el piso que construir todo con las manos arriba. It's just when you have to build with your arms up, your arms get really, really tired. So for me personally, I like building it upside down, taking the legs off, flipping it over. That was the idea, at least. So I measured the rafters to go 16 inches apart. But in my original plans, one of the sides was 8 feet, the centerpiece was 10 feet, and the other side was 6 feet. But after carefully considering and looking at the wood laid out, I didn't like the imbalance that it left. So I decided to go with 8 feet, 10 feet, and 8 feet, making it 28 feet long by 8 feet wide. In these measurements, because my original plan was 2 feet shorter, the rafters were spaced every 16 inches. After extending it an additional 2 feet, I decided to put the roof rafters every 17 inches just to assure that I had enough. They were already stained with matte clear, and they already had the rustic rose gold. So I just wanted to make sure that I had enough roof rafters for the entire project, all 28 feet. I don't even know how I expected this build to be complete, and then Casey just appears at my front doorstep for 2 days in a row and works nonstop on this, and I don't even know if she knows how grateful I am for her help, because this was massive. This was heavy. This was complicated. This involved exact precisions and perfection, and I'm just glad she was there. I love the two-tone, that's the two colors that are how it's looking together, and I love the black brackets. And there's my daughter and her cat, who's been lurking around the entire project. I think it's all important that we all do something that we love, that we all do something outside of the daily routine, that we show our kids the value of hard work and work ethic. I just love hands-on activities where you could see the final result, and making these videos is even neater because days and days worth of labor just comes together in 10-15 minutes. It's incredible. There's my kids. They're great. Se portan tan bien mis hijos. Siempre me ayudan con todo. Gracias a Dios, ¿verdad? It's about this time that I start thinking what a great idea it would be to hang some monkey bars on these rafters. They're 17 inches apart. Typically, you want to go between 12 inches to no more than 24 inches apart. I went with 17. I was originally going with 16, but 17 inches apart is like the perfect amount to put monkey bars so my kids can actually monkey bar their way across this. And I think I'm going to do that over the koi pond so they can't fall. Well, they can, but I don't recommend it. I'm really impressed at how smoothly this project seems to be going. I just love being organized with the projects because that way you know exactly what material to get, you don't have leftover parts. Everything just seems to be going exactly as anticipated. I ended up having to do a little bit of touch up on the matte black because it was just spray painted earlier that day and it just didn't have a full, 24 hours to fully dry. So putting the nails in or the screws in, but that was not a big deal. Again, I did that while it was upside down. It's a lot easier than, waiting till later. So that was an easy fix. This is when we started realizing that some of the wood was warped. I had 4 pieces of wood that were 86.5 inches. The rest of the wood was 87 inches, with the exception of the 2 10-foot posts that I had. So I ended up using the 86.5 on the width, but one of them just wasn't fitting right no matter what I did. I ended up sawing a little bit off the edge, even just a little, just so it could fit smoother. But this is when the problems began. Everything was just going too smoothly. It's starting to come together. It took a good, 10 hours to get to this point, plus. I'm running out of energy. I just want to get it done. But even though it gets frustrating at points, I just want to keep going. The problem is there's just not enough hours in the day. Luckily though, with patience and perseverance, we got through a lot. Las luces que pusimos nos salvó. Yo hubiera trabajado toda la noche, pero el próximo día iba a llevar a mis hijos a deep sea fishing. Íbamos a ir a pescar. Fue bien chévere, mi hijo sí cogió un pescado. And we got to bring it home and cook the fish, so it was delicious because talk about organic, straight from the ocean. What I didn't consider was attaching the rafters permanently. The weight of this roof was just astronomical. Even though I was going to divide it into 3 sections. So I had the 8x8, the 8x10, and another 8x8. The pillars are just the placeholders because they're coming off. Actually, not even all of them need to come off, just a few of them, so that it could be turned. This was a really long, productive night out, weekend. After coming up with obstacles, almost towards the end, we decided, you know what, it's 4 in the morning. We're being loud. I need to apologize to my neighbors. We've been working for 10 hours. It's time. So I just tried to pick up all of the nails that I had laid out already for every single rafter. And here it is. Here's the final product. I think it's so pretty. And there's the space it's going in. And I was measuring out the holes. I used the post hole digger. There it is. I called in all my neighbors, all the strength. This is the type of food that I need to cook after this type of work. So once all my neighbors and my friend's husband came, and both of my neighbors came, and I had a whole lot of help. I called in the muscle. And I was very grateful. They all came, I would say 20 minutes, the holes were already dug. The roof was already built. All they had to do was move it, flip it, and throw it in the holes, which happened to fit perfectly. Everything fell right into place. It was really nice to see it fall exactly where it needed to fall. In my life, it's not too often everything just falls into place as it's supposed to. And this particular day, I literally called in for muscles. All the guys were here within 5 minutes. They all pitched in and lift this beast and made it happen. And it was perfectly prepared, and it just perfectly fit in the holes that were already there, so I didn't waste anybody's time. Then they could go and I could continue. So yeah, I ended up putting concrete. I ended up putting a paver in the hole. That's how big the hole was. I put concrete, saturated it with water, and there it is, guys. Part 2, the build. And here's my nails. I had to work on them all night just to get them clean again. That's the pattern that I want to use. Thanks for watching Inspiring Change. Hasta mañana. This is where it all began. Ciao.